What's up, you guys? We are trying to get Kiss and Tell started right now. You know what I'm saying? People showing up. Ooh, Miss newly queen of Palm Springs.
Honey.
Queen,
Soon to be queen of everywhere.
Everywhere. LA next, right?
Yes.
And Jay.
Okay. What up?
We up here, y'all. So anyways, we're about to do the panel. I'm really excited, but we're going to ask some deep questions this time, so I'm a little nervous. Got Chanel in the house. Here, second. Yeah. Simone's up here. What? With black smoke. And, you know what to do in the comments below.
Start.
Woo! Gina. You know what I'm saying? We're all up here, so anyways, we're about to get it started, so I'll let you guys see what's going to happen. Getting ready to get the panel started, and right now we're just sitting up here while everybody's staring at us. Here we are. Staring. Look at the crowd. It's a little intimidating. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna tell you guys that's it.
So my panel, those who were the last time met them already, but I'm going to reintroduce them. This is Amber. I'm from AmbersCloset. Give her a applause, please.
I'm the executive director of True Evolution. It's a nonprofit LGBT justice and HIV/AIDS advocacy organization in Riverside, California. And most recently, I was appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Health onto the President's Advisory Council for HIV/AIDS.
This is Jasmine.
You said I am a drag queen extraordinaire. That's what I do. That's my gig, honey.
Right, and this is Michell'e.
Just a personality, performer, celebrity impersonator.
Like 21st century, like social media is so prevalent. There's Snapchat, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr. Like there's so many things, and it's just like it's kind of low provocative. So do you guys feel like it's hindered the attention span of like people, or like how do you feel about that?
It's very different for lesbians, but people make themselves available, and platforms like social media are making it very easy for those people to be able to put themselves out there or find people that they want to put themselves out there to. So I definitely think that it's very courtship. It hinders dating and really getting to know somebody, because now I can go on someone's profile and see their whole body, you know what I mean, or see everything they're getting into. So I think that it definitely hurts getting to know each other and really building a relationship.
Find out more about somebody's life by just looking at their Instagram more than actually talking to them. Mm-hmm. Because when you actually talk to somebody, you get, real conversation and
like
real person-to-person interaction. But I really do feel like it's hindered the courting and, hey, let's go on a date. You're attractive. Let me take you out. Now it's like they did. What's up? You're cute. Thanks. What's up? No. Are you sure? Yes.
I disagree.
Here we go.
But most places that I've been out, I get hit up and I get hit on in the exact same ways. What I think it has done, I think it actually has done the opposite. I think moving beyond the closet, it's allowed us to work beyond the closet, and it has been an instrument that has allowed us to kind of almost develop our sexuality and develop ourselves, because there is some safety that's provided there. Not only social safety, but physical safety for some people that are in areas where interacting in a gay space, like in the South, could really cost you your life. Specifically for trans individuals. Trans individuals, as you know, are most vulnerable when they're engaging in sexual situations. Rape, violence, and murder has happened considerably for trans women of color over the last year. And so the internet does kind of provide a social safety net.
It's one thing to dialogue with someone, and then there's another thing to send a dick pic or an asshole pic and just be like, stop. What does that even mean?
So, but some our very identity defies social norms as it is. So then how are we then going to subjugate our own people to these respectability politics?
That gay people are just weird.
But listen, no, at the end of the day, we were all born and taught to respect each other. And when you approach someone, you approach them with, hello, how are you doing, or whatever the case may be. You don't approach them with some genitalia and it's like, let's fuck. No, it's not that. Like, You come at me, be respectable, and then we can talk about what's gonna happen later.
So do you think the stigma in the church hinders opportunity for great LGBT relationships?
Okay.
I mean, me personally, I'm good. So if you good with him and I'm good with him, then we're gonna be good together.
Right.
That's it.
Well, are we speaking religion or spirituality?
Well, there it is.
Yeah. More recently, I was in a situation where I was gonna get married, and the church did not agree with the situation, and he would not marry us. And I just didn't understand that, because if I'm going to your church and I'm paying these tithes and, you know, God is love and, you know, all these great things, and we're created in his likeness and his image and we're all accepted, then I don't understand what your God is. But that's all religion. So then I had to like look back and look at myself and question, and it was actually a pretty dark place, but from that dark place I gained more light than ever, because then I started to gain like universal love.
Same, I grew up very religious, Catholic on one side, went to Catholic school, church twice a week, and then with my father on his side, Southern Baptist, which, you know what I mean, that's very opposite, but I felt like I took from both what I felt was comfortable, because I could hear the preacher or the pastor or the priest or whatever saying things that I disagreed with and would put me in the outcast, and I didn't like that. So what I developed from that was my own spirituality, and like what you just said, it took me to a dark place, but I felt so much better later. I've met so many people that have, you know, turned their life, or, you know, changed their life because they thought that it was the better way for them to go because God told them to, but all they did was put themselves in a situation where they're not able to be themselves and they're not able to truly be happy and be with the person they want to be with.
Very happy that like I was raised, you know, in the church, but I was also raised to know that like my relationship with God is more important than going to church. So it's my relationship with God was that's the most important thing to do.
So when we give our power to institutions, that's when it has effects over us. Was it Jasmine said that, you know, we didn't really grow up that fiercely religious. So there was really no power in the institution of church for your family, right? But like when I go to the South or when I do some work in the Midwest, especially the Black gay community is fiercely religious, not spiritual, fiercely institutionalized religious. And they really believe highly in the Bible, and they're very dogmatic about their biblical approaches.
Me being on social media, YouTube, I get attacked a lot by religious figures or people that are very religious, and so that's another thing that bothers me, because I feel like you're not really a Christian if you're on a platform trying to tell somebody that they're going to hell, or because of what they're doing, even as positive as it may be, you know what I'm saying, is wrong, and they're wrong in some way, and that aspect of it is what's been bothering me, because it pulls people away from being religious or, you know, spiritual, or wanting to feel like they can belong in a church because there's some church figure, you know, putting them down and judging them for how they live their life. And it should be the complete opposite.
I don't have a problem with the gay relationship on Empire, but I do have an issue with it being interracial. What happened to Black love?
But they're letting you know that everybody can love who the fuck they want to.
Thank you! Okay.
Just deal with it.
I mean, you feel like Black love is just diminished, and you know. I mean, have you guys dated out of your race before?
Oh, yes.
See, I look at that in a whole different perspective.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, I see.
when
That's
I
what I
see
have to do.
interracial love
Yeah.
on TV, like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I look at it in a different perspective. Like, thank you for showing that, hey, if we have a Black show that we're dominated by, you know, African American cast, yes, please, let's put some other, you know, races in there so they can see, the world can see that it's something that is across the board. It's not just us. Lesbians aren't just African Americans. They're not just this, they're not just that. It's something across the board. But I think it's a good way to make people's and for people to see a relationship that's beautiful and see that it's interracial so it can connect with people in different ways and be relatable across the massive board of people watching TV. So that's how I see it. I don't think that we need to just put one type of relationship on TV and tell everybody they need to relate to that one relationship. You know what I mean? Let's mix it up.
I tend to think that though we are receiving the media as them being progressive and transformative by doing these interracial relationships, I think that white executives and white television and white privileged spaces are not ready to digest black on black love. And so though we're receiving it on this end. For some of us, we're receiving it as it's transformative and we're showing that interracial relationships can happen. How beautiful is that? The reality is that TV is not ready for black bodies to be fully embraced in all of their love and all of their celebration, that we have to be qualified and validated
Black homosexual.
even as, especially as homosexuals, that we have to be qualified and validated by someone who is closer to white privilege. And that interracial relationships are many times used as a way for it to be digestible to the wide-ranging audience.
Yeah.
So predominant desires to get closer to heteronormativity, heterosexism, and by virtue masculinity, right? To get closer to that. What is the root of that? Like, what is the real rooted cause of our preferences? Where do our preferences really come from?
It comes from society and how we were raised.
And so I don't
Like, what's a man?
I don't like to unpack that too deeply because some people get very offended.
No, please
by that.
do, because that's where transsexual and transgender comes from.
Yeah.
Also.
So I think now we're kind of transitioning as a society into a transgender. We have like Bruce Jenner, we have Laverne Cox. People just don't know what transgender is versus transsexual versus transvestite. Like, people don't know.
I think that's where the issue is understanding transgender and transsexual. Two different things completely. Transsexual, someone who takes hormones and does not feel comfortable in the body that they were assigned in or the sex that they were assigned in, and they take hormones to transition to make their outsides appear like how they feel on the inside. Transgender, that is like so multifaceted, it's ridiculous because it's all about, it could be like how you were raised or what you perceive as feminine or masculine or, you know, androgyny or whatever the case may be. So just because you are a man but you feel like, okay, well, I want to wear heels and do this and this and that, like, and more like, okay, well, maybe I feel like a woman, like that could be transgender. So it's very, very different, you know what I mean? I feel like transvestite would like kind of deal more in the realms of like transgender. Transvestite is a man who just feels like, okay, maybe I want to get in drag this day or whatever, and comes out of it, and there's no emotional connection to it.
Talked about how we are all like abolitionists, and she made reference to Harriet Tubman having to free herself from slavery, and that it's important that as we free ourselves, that we come back to teach and liberate others.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so I think what's happening here is an abolitionist movement where the LGBT community, trans specifically, are seeing this wave of abolitionism where people like Laverne Cox and Janet Mock are setting an example to bring people free. But I do hope that all of us can celebrate Michell'e just the same way as we celebrate the trans girl who is not passing. That is our call to action, to celebrate and help the trans community, even those who aren't passing.
Because it's not all about passing. It has very much to do with how you handle yourself and how you carry yourself. And if you respect yourself first, if you hold yourself to a certain esteem, other people will too. I have not came into any danger within the heterosexual community or anybody else besides, which is sad to say, but my own sisters.
What can we do as the LGBT community to support your sisters who aren't there?
Just really be there to support. That's it. I mean, I don't think it's anything that can be said. It's all in your actions.